What is this channel about? Well, when I was a kid, the news was all about one or two guys sitting at a desk. Facts as much as they could get them, without a lot of editorial. Now we have entertainment that has replaced the really critical place of real news with ridiculous panel arguments and propaganda from both sides. It teaches you nothing you need to know as an American. The reality is that we're being taught to pick a side by politicians and the media. It's Dems or Republicans. But from what I can see, neither side represents our needs or our concerns. Many of you will disagree because we've all been taught that there's an enemy and it has to be the party you don't belong to. But the Republicans and Democrats have almost the same agenda. Most of them are worried about getting elected or keeping their jobs. Most are elected by well-heeled PACs and corporate interests, leaving what should be your seemingly sacred vote as almost meaningless. And most importantly, most of them owe something to the people who got them elected. Not to mention the influence of lobbyists for certain industries. Yes, both Democrats and Republicans. Remember the maneuvering to push Bernie Sanders out of the running for the Democratic candidacy in 2016? And why are the Republicans chipping away at all support programs, such as Social Security, which we all paid into, keeping more money that isn't theirs for themselves for some ugly reason that can't be revealed? That's just the start. The point is, while we're being taught that things are okay as long as our side wins, things are happening to both Republicans and Democratic voters that are disastrous. And we are taught to ignore all the things that are happening to us as long as we fight the other side. The Rust Belt, Wall Street, and everyone in between are suffering. It's been years since there have been consistent cost of living raises. People are living from paycheck to paycheck, and the middle class is disappearing. Pharmaceutical costs are rising, leaving people with diseases like diabetes unable to pay for critical medicine. Everyone accepts this as just something that's happening. But it would have been unthinkable even 10 years ago. Why isn't our government outraged at the thought of so many people's lives being cut short? What is the swamp that we're all supposed to be worrying about draining? Well, from my point of view, it's called the two-party system, and it is what is dividing the country. It's a dinosaur that has developed to give politicians and corporate interests the ability to manipulate our country to gain advantage for themselves. In other words, regardless of what we think we know, we are being screwed over by people who have no reason to consider our needs. George Washington made a point in his farewell address to make sure that those listening would see the existence of parties as dangerous, because sooner or later someone would take advantage of the division inherent in parties and make a bid for absolute power. Now, please join me in exploring the terrain of our country that is making all of us suffer. Hating the other side, whether you're on the left or the right, does not further your interests. It just creates a new news cycle that blinds you to what is being taken from you. Thank you for listening.